Welcome to today's video. Today is going to be a get ready with me, and I'm going to create this look with some of my favorite products, but we're also going to have a little story time. I'm going to tell you about my little baby here, Winter, who recently just gave us a scare at the vet, but I also kind of dive into my struggles with addiction, mental health, and how I've learned to cope and seeing things through a better perspective. But if you guys are interested in hearing my thoughts on life and seeing how I created this look, then just keep watching. How Annie? Tell him. She's ready for her debut.
We don't need to be worried. We don't need lots of money. So tonight put your hands in the air. Act like you just don't care.
Welcome back. But if this is your first time here, hi, my name is Heather. I love all things makeup, especially colorful makeup and indie brands. And if you guys love those things too, I really hope you will subscribe. Click the little bell so you can be notified of all my future uploads. And if you like this video, I would appreciate it if you gave me a thumbs up. It really does help me out. But I'm going to go ahead and get you guys zoomed in, and then I'm going to get started on this eye look. I'm excited to play with some old favorites, some new favorites. I'm going to mix up some palettes and just create a really cool look while we talk about everything that's been going on in my life at this moment. But let me get you zoomed in. So I've been working with my lighting. I'm trying to get it fixed. I appreciate everyone's feedback that you've been giving me on it. And let me know what you think about it now down below. I do think it looks a little better. I noticed like everything was kind of whitewashed after it was brought to my attention. I really could see it. So thank you for that. But let's go ahead and get into the video. I want to show you guys what I plan on using for this eye look. I'm going to mix 4 palettes. I really want to do something blue and green. And I just really, really want to play with this neon green in the Gourmande Girls NUEVA VIDA palette. And you can tell the palette looks a lot more like true to color, which makes me super happy. But I want to play with the deeper blues in this palette. This is the Wizard palette by Unearthly Cosmetics. And for shimmers, I want to use the shade Cauldron in the Bella Beauty Bar Basic Witch palette. It's like a green to blue multichrome. I think it'll be really cool with that. But I want to use a deeper multichrome out on the end, like the edge, where you bridge the matte and the shimmers. And I really want to use this shade, and it's so freaking stunning. And it is from the Unearthly Cosmetics 1964 palette. But I just want to play and just talk about life and everything that's been going on with me. But if you guys are interested in anything that I talked about in today's video or any of the other products that I have on my face, I will have them all linked down below in my description box. But I can go ahead and tell you, this highlighter, it gets me every time. It's the GLAMLITE Friday the 13th highlighter, and it's so freaking stunning. It looks so smooth and like glossy and glassy. I just really, really love it. So I'm not going to really talk about what I'm doing. I'll show you like what color I'm using and stuff in between shades and everything. But I'm not really going to talk much about the makeup until maybe the end. But I just want to talk about everything that's been going on. So my video where I used the Moonshroom collection from Lunar Beauty, at the end of it, I told you guys that we had tornado warnings and it was like storming really bad. So I just wanted to update you guys on that first. Luckily, we did not get hit by a tornado. Thank goodness for that. But I actually live close to the Ohio River, and everything flooded. And it's so sad. Like, there's so many businesses that are just destroyed. So many homes that are destroyed and everything else. And all the roads were closed for days because the water was like up way higher than what they originally thought that it would be. But it was super high. Like I said, right now there's like all the businesses, you could tell they have all their employees there, and they're like dragging all their stuff out. and there's dumpsters out front, and it's just so freaking sad. Luckily, we live like on a hill, so we didn't get it flooded. We had like rushing water coming off the mountain behind us, but that was it. It didn't affect our house or our property or anything, and I am truly grateful for that. But it's really bad. I had to go to the doctor the first day of the flood, and I like to never got there. And there's like gas stations underwater, like peaks of roofs sticking up out of the water. It's just been so crazy. The only thing that's really affected me personally is the mail running and stuff like that. And, I mean, considering what could have been and what happened to everyone else, I know that's like really nothing serious. It's just mail, but it does affect my YouTube channel because I have a lot of packages out that of like new makeup and stuff I wanted to do videos on, which is why I'm filming this, because I don't have anything to film with, which throws me off schedule, which is really bad for my ADHD brain. I strive on routine. I need it. It's very important to me, to my mental health. But, it could have been worse. I could have been one of those people that were affected by the flood and stuff like that. And I'm so glad that I wasn't. But I've been thrown for a loop. My week has been a little hectic. I know this looks a little crazy right now, but I'm just basically mapping everything out. One good thing about the community that I live in, though, is everyone volunteered, and they all like did sandbags and stuff to try to protect the homes and businesses. Like everyone just truly came together. And honestly, I've lived in a lot of different places in my 35 years of life this far, but I have never seen a community come together in that way. And I just think that's amazing. And it makes me feel so proud to live where I live. I just love that about it. I hate that, this happened and so many people were affected by it. And that's just really sad. But it is nice to know that I live in a community where if I ever need them, that they would be there if I were ever in a similar situation. And that makes me proud. So in the midst of all this flood, we wake up and one of my girls, my dogs, her name is Winter. I will show you guys her at the end. But she woke up and her like jaw was swelled out, and she's a Chihuahua. She's a biter. So we don't really get to look at her teeth a lot. And it's been like a year since she's had her teeth checked at the vet. So in the middle of all this, I had to like try to go through all these like floodwaters and everything else and take all these detours to try to find a vet in a town that I just moved here like a year ago, a little over a year ago. So I'm not familiar with anything here. And it was just crazy trying to hurry up and get her to the vet. And she was so irritable. I could tell that she was in a lot of pain and everything like that. And she was like being really snappy with her sisters. And I finally get her to the vet. I find out that she has to, she had buildup around the gums of one of her teeth. She needed a teeth cleaning, and we just couldn't see it. And her mouth got infected, and she was in so much pain. But a lot of money later, I think it was around like $400 for that initial visit and like blood work and all of that. I definitely wanted to do blood work to make sure she didn't have like an infection in her bloodstream. And plus, they gave her antibiotics and pain medicine and everything. The vet there is so freaking nice, and I'm really glad that I found them. But they said that she has to be put to sleep and her teeth cleaned, and she may possibly even have to have that tooth pulled, and that is going to cost anywhere from $500 to $1,000, which is freaking crazy. I think I'm going to look into that pet insurance since we have 5 anyway. And I don't know how that tooth got overlooked that way. And it's really unfortunate, especially for her, because she's the one that's, been in all of that pain, and that breaks my heart. But she's doing a lot better now. We're just waiting for her appointment so that she can get her cleaning and everything. But this week it's just been so crazy. It's just been so like off schedule and everything. And that's really, really hard for me. But I also have ADHD and I'm unmedicated. So my brain is hectic, anyways. And with that, I am unmedicated because I'm trying to find a new doctor in my area, someone who can try to help me without giving me medications, or at least anything that's addictive. Because for those of you who do not know, I also struggle with addiction. I've only been sober for, let's see, December made 2 years, and we're on the 4th month, so 26 months. And, that's something to be proud of course, but I want to stay sober. So the last thing I want to do is to take a pill that I could possibly be addicted to, because I was never the type of addict who like had a specific drug of choice. It was just whatever I got into at the time. That's what I did. I've had big relapses with different types of drugs, and I just feel like nothing like that is safe for me. I just stay away from all of it. It's easier for me that way. And it makes it easier that I do live in a place where I've never lived. I don't know anyone where I live, uh, or anything like that. I don't let myself like make connections in my personal life. I have like my spouse and my friends and family, the ones that I talk to. Well, I don't really have friends like in my personal life. I have people that I've met through my girlfriend, but nothing that's mine. And that's one of the reasons why I really wanted to start my YouTube channel, was so that I could, meet people, and it's still safe at the same time. Like, a lot of people in my life have tried to get me to go to NA or AA and stuff like that, but I won't do it because I'm so afraid of meeting other addicts, because we do relapse. It happens. I've relapsed several times. I'm hoping that I don't again, but I mean, you never know. I never say never, especially when it comes to that, because the last time I relapsed, I really didn't think that I ever would, and I did. So for me, it's never say never, but that's why I don't get put on ADHD medicine. But that's also something that I struggle with so bad, because I can't focus on anything. I've struggled focusing to even talk about this in a video, because I keep getting sidetracked of what I'm even talking about, which is freaking crazy, but it's me and my brain. I've got to learn to love it and just take it for what it is, because I can't change it at this very moment. But hopefully I'll be able to get some help with that, and uh I can figure it out. But the ADHD thing is why the male situation has really just thrown me for a loop. And I hate it when my routine changes. It just takes a toll on me. Let me know down below if you guys, if any of you have ADHD too, and maybe you have any tips for that, because I get so overwhelmed and it's freaking annoying. But I also I don't do stuff like laundry, for example. My laundry is overflowing. I have so many freaking loads of dirty laundry and clean laundry that needs put away. And I get so overwhelmed by it, and I feel so guilty, but I just It's like I block it out and I try to ignore it because it's just too much for me to handle. And then one day I'll just get a wild hair up my, and I'll just do it all, like do everything at once and drive myself freaking crazy and be so exhausted because I did so much in one day. If I could change anything about myself, it would be that. It drives me crazy. So I'm loving this eye look. Oh, these colors look so bright and vibrant. I think it's so pretty. It's everything that I was hoping it would be. I'm going to deepen this up a little bit though. But so far, as for the flood, there's been like no fatalities or anything like that, which is amazing. I'm so glad that everyone made it safe through everything. The water is finally starting to go back down, but they're cleaning up the debris and everything in our area. We live by a college campus too, and the college flooded, and it's been a whole mess for them too, which is really sad. But I think they're getting it all cleaned up now, which is really nice. Today's also the day of the eclipse, and we only got a partial eclipse where we live, but it was still really cool. Well, let me know what you guys did. We just basically just sat here and I went out and looked at it for a minute, but I wanted to film. So I didn't really stay outside and look, but I know a lot of people did a lot of really cool things to celebrate. Oh, and I wanted to update you guys too. I mentioned in one of my videos about my hair that like has been falling out really bad, and I was trying to figure out what was going on, but I went to the doctor and I explained like everything that's been going on. Like my night terrors are really bad. I've always struggled with them, but they're like at an all-time high right now. They have been for the last year, but not just that, about my hair falling out and just a bunch of little things. And apparently my iron is like low. I am anemic, and as much as I don't want that, I also struggle with fatigue. Like as soon as I eat, like I'm talking within 5 minutes, I am so tired that I cannot even hold my head up. And it's the worst thing ever. I can't eat anything. It doesn't matter. And I can't eat out with friends or anything like that because I get so tired and so irritable. And I'm not typically like that. And I can't stand to even be around myself. And apparently, it's all linked to anemia, which makes me actually kind of happy because I'm so freaking glad that they figured out what it was. And I just have a vitamin deficiency. It runs in my family, but I'm gonna be able to get on some medicine, and I'm gonna freaking feel better, and my hair is gonna stop falling out and everything. I'm just so relieved that there's a solution to it, and now I know what's going on. Oh, I'm just so freaking relieved. So I'm just spending this video spitting out a bunch of random BS. Now I'm just going to dig into this green again, and I'm going to brush this along the lower lash line. But my videos, I feel like, aren't as personal as I would like them to be, but I don't know how to make them personal because I don't, without like oversharing or talking about things that people might not want to hear me talk about and stuff like that. So I'm just trying to figure it out. I've only been on YouTube. This month will be my 1 year. I think it's the 22nd, if I'm remembering correctly. And I'm still like trying to figure everything out, like the situation with the lighting and everything. So it's all a work in progress. And filming when I first started was like really awkward to talk to the camera, which I don't know why, because honestly, I talk to myself all day, every day, anyways. Usually in song, I just think of random songs in my head all day and sing them. And it's the most crazy playlist that you could ever freaking picture. But it was still awkward. And it's finally getting to where it's not awkward to talk about the makeup. But so far, I really love YouTube. It makes me so happy. And I think that's why I've really struggled over all my packages being late, is because it kind of helps. It's like the thing that really helps like settle my mind. And I have a lot of stressful stuff going on in my life. So this is the thing that just gives me peace and it makes me happy. And it's not even just the filming part and the makeup, it's the whole thing, the editing, reading comments, posting, filming it, looking at the new stuff, thinking about it, planning. I love every single aspect of it. And it just brings me so much joy. So if this video feels a little weird or bumpy, just hang in there with me. I'll figure it out, I promise. And as always, if you guys have any recommendations, any kind of things you would like to hear me talk about, I would love to hear from you. I actually have a lot of thoughts on a lot of things, especially like mental health and growing as a person and, things that happen in life, trauma, addiction. I feel like I've learned so much in the last year, especially, but even more than that, it's the last 10 years have had a lot of growth for me. And unfortunately, that also involved a lot of trauma, but it's hard for me to regret it because I feel like I'm who I am now because of my situations that I've been through, and I don't regret that. I'm a big believer that everything happens for a reason. I believe that with my whole heart. And honestly, it's really helped me get through harder situations. Like last year on Valentine's Day, we lost my stepdad to cancer. We found out, well, he started getting sick in October before that, the end of October. He actually came to my house, him and my mom, and he fell in my yard. Apparently, he had already had kidney cancer. And when he fell, it ruptured a tumor that he had, and the cancer, they said it's like an egg of spiders, like spider eggs, and when you bust it, the spiders go everywhere. They said basically that's what his cancer did, and it just spread really fast to his lungs and his liver. And by the time it was November, I think he got his scan, and we got the results back in December. His liver had already grown 8 centimeters in diameter, which is freaking huge. And by the time they got to it, it was just too late, and then he passed away. They tried to do a treatment with him in December, but no, in January. And he was like really great for a week. But before that, he had a colostomy bag because his intestine ruptured. And apparently, he was still fighting an infection with that. And when they gave him the treatment for the cancer, it made that infection worse. And it actually is what ended up killing him. And but through all of that, I realized that as terrible as it is to lose him, and of course, I wish that wouldn't have happened. I also look back at some of the worst things that have happened in my life, and I could see what I learned from each thing, no matter how traumatic they were or anything like that. I can see the lesson behind everything. Like, for instance, an ex that I had, it's been over a decade ago, was very, very abusive. And when I first met said ex, I was very shy, very backwards. When I would like go out to eat, I was so insecure and just, I don't know. I wouldn't order my own food. I was scared to pick anything or choose for myself because I wanted to be like what everyone else wanted me to be. So I never made a decision for myself or anything. And through that relationship, I actually is when I became an addict and started struggling with that. but that was also my first like physically abusive relationship. And it's terrible. Like, I'm not going to say I'm not traumatized from it, because I am. I still have nightmares, and a lot of things have come from that. But also in that relationship, I somehow found my voice, because I became so tired of being mistreated and abused that I learned how to start sticking up for myself. And I can see a lot of good things that came from it. Yeah, I was traumatized and went through a lot of crap, but also I found a part of myself and learned something that I did not want, if that makes sense. And in the end, it ended up helping me later through the next relationship. And, that one brought me, I learned a lot from that one too. Maybe one day we will get into all of that. But I just knew, like, when he got sick, that there was going to be something that I was going to learn from all of this. And, sometimes things like that take time before you can really see what, there's always something positive, no matter how bad a situation is. And sometimes it's so hard to see it, and I get it, but it's there. And sometimes it just takes a little clarity and being on the other side of it to really understand that. And sometimes you're just too close, you know what I mean? And I knew, though, that I was going to gain something from that, and I did. And but it helped me get through losing him, and it made it so much easier for me. But I just truly think that everything happens the way it's meant to happen, and sometimes it's not always easy for us to understand it fully. But a lot of times, if you look back and just allow yourself to think about what you went through, you and how it changed you, and sometimes you can see that some things change you and make you better. For a long time, like when I was on the other side of that bad relationship that I was talking about, I used to look back at who I was, like the person before drugs, the person that was innocent and naive, some would say, but and pure. And I truly mourned myself like it was a death. I experienced it that way. And I wanted so hard to be able to go back and be the person I was like before that experience. But the thing is, you can never go back. You can either stay there in that moment, or you can push yourself and make yourself come out of the other side of it, and you can learn from it. And that's what I chose to do. But I'm not going to lie, it took me a minute to really be able to let go of that anger and the guilt and learn from it. It took a while, and it wasn't easy, but I got here and I'm glad I did. But I knew, like, when my stepdad died, that somehow something was going to come of that. And I think it did. I'm going to go in with the shade here in the Fantasy Cosmetica palette. But back to what I was talking about, I don't even know how I got led to that whole conversation. I told you I have ADHD, so there's a prime example of it. But this is why I try not to talk about personal things in videos, because things tend to get heavy real quick with me. I love deep conversations. I love conversations that make you really think, and things that make you, I'm sorry if you guys heard that a bottle knocked over, but things that make you think outside of your perspective. And that was a thing that I realized while I was in the middle of going through something that really did help me out a lot. But I want to go in with this shade with the Basic Witch palette, and I'm just gonna put this on the front portion. I think that's gonna be really cool. But when my stepdad passed away, he was actually on Social Security, and he's been sick his whole life. So he couldn't get life insurance without paying so much money, and they were on Social Security, so they couldn't afford it. And of course, when he died, they had no savings for any situation like that, which is understandable with their financial situation. But that was rough because no one in my family like could help, and I couldn't help either. Like, I'm not in their situation, but I'm not well off by any means. So I didn't have the money saved up either. And needless to say, I ended up having to, I stood on the side of the road and held a sign and asked people to help, which now when I pass those people, if I have money in my pocket, I will always stop. I don't care what they're holding that sign for. And I feel like it's not up to me to decide. It's up to them, and what they do with it, that's on them, but I'll always help, and that's why. But also something I realized, and this might help someone if in the future, if you ever find yourself in that situation, but a lot of businesses will give you donations because it's a tax write-off. So what I did was I found a bar. It was right beside my mom's house. It's like a sports bar, and they donated their space to me for a day. So I did a fundraiser, and I called like all these businesses in where they live. They actually live up towards like Cleveland, and that a bunch of people, I got food donations. I made all kinds of like baskets to raffle off. I got like alcohol donations, and like I made all kinds of like raffle baskets. I got lottery tickets, free tattoos from businesses. There's so many people that helped. And then we had friends and family help make baskets to raffle off. And I ended up raising the money for his funeral. And it took me 21 days, which was complete hell because that's a long time. I mean, I don't, you guys can connect those dots on your own, but it was a long time. And I had to come up with $9,000, which was freaking crazy. But I I think in a way it kind of made it easier for me, even though that was a scary situation to be in because I was so scared that I wasn't going to be able to do it. And then I didn't want to not be there for him. You know, he wasn't even my biological dad, he was my stepdad, but he was one of my favorite people. And he was always there for me when he didn't have to be. And I just wanted to be able to give that to him. And was a tough situation to be in, but and it distracted me because I'm also an empath. So I was so worried about my mom and my brothers. I have a younger brother and a brother that's a year older than, well, like 12 months older than me. We're like twins almost. It feels like, but I was so worried about them, so it distracted me from me, and I didn't like lose my mind because I was so worried about doing that for him and for my mom and my brothers and taking care of everything. And now, you know, that it's all said and done, I I know how proud he would be if, I mean, if he could see it, if he saw and knew what happened. I know how proud that he would be, and I feel like that helps me like really get through it. And I don't know, it's just made it a lot easier for me because it helped me get through the situation. And it's almost like I got left with a gift in a way. And I know that's a crazy way to look at it. Some of you may unsubscribe and think I'm crazy, but you know, it's a silver lining, and it helps me like get through all of it. And all I wanted was for him to be proud, and now I think he would be. Where was that whole conversation going? Couldn't tell you. I'm probably gonna edit this video and cringe through the whole thing, but this is me, and trust me, if I could focus and have a single thought and a single conversation without being all over the place, I would freaking love to. But for now, this is what we get. I'm drinking some juicy juice. I love them. They say they're for kids, but I don't believe it. We are back with our lashes on, but this is Winter, aka Winnie, Winnie the Pooh, and she is so beautiful. But Her little mouth is getting better with the infection. But she's mad at me because she doesn't like coming upstairs. Do you, Annie? But I'm just so glad she's feeling better. And I'm so glad that we know what's wrong with her and it's nothing that's like life threatening. And I'm thankful that we are fortunate enough to be able to take her to the vet and get her what she needs, because I know that's not always the case for some people and some pets. So I'm grateful, but I just wanted to introduce you to her. She actually has a sister. Her name is Stormy Rain, and she has short hair and they look just alike. But this is Winter Snow. Oh, Winnie. She's mad. But I just wanted you guys to meet her. And now we'll go ahead and let her lay down in her banana bed so she will calm down. She's upset with me. I brushed her hair before I brought her on. She's not been able to get her hair done, and we're waiting until all of this is fixed and everything before we like put her through all of that. But I just really wanted you guys to meet her. She's so freaking cute. But as for the other parts of this video, I'm so sorry that that freaking conversation got so chaotic. I don't know how I ended up to the conversations I ended up with. So, I mean, I guess I will see how all of that goes. But thank you guys so much for watching. And if you guys have ever been through similar situations and you find yourself needing to talk to someone who may understand what you're going through, you can always reach out to me in my DMs on Instagram. I always have that page linked down below in my description box, but I truly mean it when I say my DMs are open. You can always reach out to me, and I truly get it when you feel like, you know, you're suffering alone. And I just hope you guys know that I mean it with my whole heart when I say that you really don't have to. Let me know your thoughts on this video down below and maybe on the things we talked about. Like I said earlier, I really do enjoy hearing other people's perspectives. I think that's how we learn and grow, and we become more empathetic as a person, and that is very important. I feel like we don't have enough empathy in this world. So my community, what I want is people like me who are willing to learn and grow and educate ourselves, and people who love makeup and maybe have been through similar situations as me. But again, I just appreciate you guys so much, and I can't wait to hear your thoughts down below. And until next time, bye.